Welcome back to another episode of Local Search Tuesdays. This week I'm taking another break from my mini series on local SEO signals to share my presentation from PubCon last week. PubCon is one of the largest and oldest digital marketing conferences, and it's held every spring in Florida and every fall in Las Vegas. If you've never been, you need to go. Not only is the content amazing, the networking is awesome, and you have unprecedented access to the speakers. Like everything else this year, PubCon had to go virtual. I gave a presentation on post-COVID local SEO, packed with awesome local SEO tips and, as always, some fun movie references. It's a 20-minute presentation, so this episode's a bit longer than usual, but it's packed with awesome tips to help you stand out in local search results. So you don't want to miss it. Check it out. Welcome to Post-COVID Local SEO. I'm kind of not a fan of the Zoom thing. It's weird being up here in the corner like this, right? So let's see what we can do about this. Much better, right? So this is post-COVID local SEO, and they already introduced me, so you know I'm Greg Gifford, the Vice President of Search Lab. I want to make sure you check out our blog every week. I do a weekly video series called Local Search Tuesdays. It's short 3 to 5 minute videos that talk about local SEO and important updates, so you definitely want to check that out. And outside of COVID, I typically speak at a lot of conferences, and I speak at conferences all over the world, and I see a lot of really bad presenters at some of these conferences where there's the podium right here, and then the person stands with their back to the crowd, and they just read their slides the whole time. And it's super boring and not engaging. And even worse, a lot of times the background of the slide is just white and it's black Arial font with just bullet point after bullet point after bullet point that they're reading. And it's really not fun to watch. And because of that, I firmly believe that bullet points kill kittens. So this will be a kitty-safe presentation. And you saw the reference there to Contagion at the beginning. You've probably seen me speak before. You know I'm a movie nut. I've got a full sleeve of movie portrait tattoos. My whole right leg is sleeved up with Goonies tattoo. I'm about to start on my other arm. So I'm crazy about movies, and I love to share my love of movies with my love of SEO and presentation. So there's always a theme. And today's theme is sci-fi movies. We have 99 references to sci-fi movies. And usually I go back and include one movie for every year in the last 50 years. But today we're going back 52 years because I'm a huge nut for Planet of the Apes. And we have to have every Planet of the Apes movie in there if we're talking science fiction movies, right? So I know there's some obscure stuff that a lot of you may have not seen, so there is attribution way over there on the side. If you're curious, you've got a cool list of movies to watch when we're done. But let's go ahead and kick this off. Are you here because you need a hand with local SEO in the post-COVID landscape? You're probably spending a lot of time looking up at competitors that rank higher than you, because local SEO is a really tough puzzle to crack. There's a lot of complicated moving pieces. And you can't float along with minimal effort, because if you do, you're gonna basically blend into the background. And if you're blending into the background, you're basically visible to potential customers. And obviously that's not a good thing. And even though COVID has kind of really thrown things for a huge loop and everything's crazy now, I don't want you to lose your head. Get it? Get it? Lose your head? I don't want you to lose your head, because I'm here today to help you. And there's a lot of stuff online about COVID and what you need to do afterwards and how local SEO works now. I'm going to help you sort through the giant pile of crap that's online and figure out what actually works to help get your business more visibility. In fact, I'm going to show you the code behind Google's local algorithm so you'll understand how things actually work. COVID has changed consumer behavior at a fundamental level. The way that people shop has changed, and successful businesses have adapted to this. You have to stop thinking, I really wish that things would go back to normal. This is the new normal. We can't keep waiting for things to go back to a pre-COVID way of life. You have to adjust to how things are now if you want to be successful. And in today's post-COVID world, every purchase starts with a search. Digital dominance is absolutely the key to winning moving forward. You have to show up when people are searching for you. And more queries are returning local results. Queries that didn't used to return local results are now showing map packs. So local is becoming bigger and more all-encompassing. And it's the key to success, because people are searching from their homes and they need a local result. So you have to be doing local SEO. And hopefully most of you know what it is, but for the noobs in the room that are wondering, hey, what is local SEO? It's targeting Google's local algorithm. It's a different kind of SEO. It's more specific. There's additional signals involved, and you know that you need it because you'll do a search and you'll see the map pack with the map and the 3 results underneath. Or you can click the more locations link at the bottom and it takes you to the local finder page. This is also Google's local algorithm at play. Or you can jump directly into a Google map search, also Google's local algorithm. And even though the map pack is displayed in that initial search we were talking about, all of the organic results under the map pack are also localized. So it's all Google's local algorithm. The most important signals that influence this algorithm are content, links, reviews, and your Google My Business listing. If you want to outpace your competitors and win in local search, you've got to absolutely rock in those 4 areas. Your content needs to actually be about your business. This is a key point here. I see so many businesses for so many years that have websites with really generic content, and it's just the same stuff that's on their competitors' sites or the same stuff that's on similar business sites all over the country, and there's nothing really unique. Your content needs to actually talk about your business and why you're awesome and why people should buy from you, and it should be localized as well. It should be talking about the local area. Now, I'm not talking about shoving your city name in a certain number of times into the text. It's not about that. It's about having truly localized text so it's clear that your business is a part of the local community. And it's really important nowadays that you add your COVID content. You have to add content around COVID and the things that you have done to adapt because customers are looking for that. So you need to add a page about your COVID safety procedures, the things that you're doing at your business to follow government regulations or city regulations or your own internal guidance on what's important with COVID safety. And if you've got additional services, curbside pickup, you're now offering delivery, anything like that, you've got to have that on a page on your site so that people can say, hey, during COVID, can I come just pick up my order at curbside? Or do you offer delivery? You have to have all of this on your site. Don't assume that people will understand that this is how your business works. You've got to remember the kind of old school concept of if you want to rank for something, you need a page about that concept on your site. So if you want to rank for these COVID questions and concerns that people have, you've got to have that content on your site. And you need to geo-optimize the heck out of your site. Now, geo-optimization has been a debate for a very long time. I'm sure if Dan Leibson is watching this right now, he's chuckling and going, go Greg with the old school local SEO from 10 years ago. But it's true. Geo-optimization's been around for a long time. And geo-optimization doesn't necessarily always work in some verticals, but in today's post-COVID world, you've got to make sure that you're doing it because people are looking for localized results, and this is definitely going to help you. Here are the things that you need to be optimizing. First of all, title tag, most important, most weighted element on the page. You've got to have your targeted keyword phrase and your city state. Don't put your business name in the title tag, especially at the beginning of the title tag. You're the only business named that, and you're always going to rank #1 for searches for that phrase. So instead, use that valuable optimization space of the most weighted thing on the page to optimize for your keyword phrase and include your city and state abbreviation. Second most weighted element on the page is your H1 heading. You've got to make sure that the heading is conversational. It includes the same targeted keyword phrase that's in your title tag, and make sure you've got that location information in there as well. Obviously, you need the same stuff in the page content, but if you've written content that's truly about your business and truly about what you do and how you're unique, and make sure it's localized, like I said just a minute ago, you probably won't have to worry about too much here. But you do want to make sure that same targeted keyword phrase and variations of that phrase are used throughout your content on the page, and you've got that city and state abbreviation in there as well. All of the website platforms out there allow you to customize your URL for each page on your site. This is really key. A lot of people don't necessarily make too many changes here, and this can be really powerful if the URL is friendlier for human eyes. It's also friendlier for Google. So make sure that same keyword phrase and city and state abbreviation are in the URL for those internal pages, and make sure you're using dashes to separate words. Image alt text is another area of optimization that's most often overlooked. A lot of people don't pay attention to alt text, but now it's becoming a little bit more of a popular thing to do because of accessibility. If someone's using a screen reader because they're blind, that alt text is what's read out. So it's really important to have that there for ADA compliance, but it's also an important element that a lot of people overlook that's included in the algorithm. So make sure those image alt text areas are all filled out. Make sure that it's descriptive of the image and that it includes your targeted keyword phrase and your location information. And then your meta description. Obviously, the meta description doesn't play in the ranking algorithm, but since it populates those couple of gray sentences underneath your link when you show up in Google, it's like AdWords copy. So you want to write something compelling, and including that keyword phrase and location information will help you get more click-throughs to your website. You absolutely need a blog in today's world. Forget all the stuff out there that says that it's optional. You have to have a blog to compete in today's world because there's a difference between the kind of content that goes on your website and the kind of content that goes on your blog. And blog content generally helps a lot with link building, and it's also stuff that lets you target longer tail keyword phrases. So it's really important to have both. And your blog should not be all about you and how awesome you are and why people should buy from you, because that's frankly boring. Nobody's going to pay attention if your blog is just a brag fest about what you do and what you sell. So make it a local destination. Make it a place that people in the community can go to see useful, helpful, relevant information about the local area. It doesn't have to all be related to your business. In fact, for the clients that we work with, half of the blog posts that we push out are locally focused. And they may kind of ancillary tie into the business a little bit, but most of the time, it almost has nothing to do with the business and it's just about the local area. And it's the old school marketing tactic of throwing out a wider net and attracting more people and getting that brand recognition, because you're putting things on your site that will show up to more people. If you need more ideas for localized blog posts, I wrote a search engine land post several years ago. So bit.ly/local-content-ideas. That will take you to my search engine land post that will give you some stuff that you can use to piggyback off of to come up with other ideas of things that you can write for localized blog content that will help your business show up better. And please stop in the content. I absolutely hate this when you see a website and it says, we also serve these cities, and then you just list out like 15 cities separated by commas. That's not going to help you rank in those cities. And remember, your content needs to be conversational. It needs to sound like something you would say face to face, that somebody just walked in the front door. And if I just walked in your front door, I'm already at your business. You don't need to tell me that you also serve people in 15 other cities. So stop with that stuff. If you want to rank in other cities, there's ways to do it. But just putting a comma-separated list of city names on your site is not going to help. If you do want to expand your reach, you need to be a bit more advanced and use a concept called local content silos. Now, I've only got about 12 or 13 minutes left, so I don't really have time to jump into this. If this applies to you and your business and you want to expand your reach outside of your area, remember, first you've got to own your own backyard. You've got to show up really well in the area where you're located before you try to expand. But when you're ready to expand, bit.ly/local-content-silos will take you to my post on Search Engine Land that explains exactly how to do this strategy. You've also got to worry a lot about inbound links. We all know they're the most weighted element in Google's algorithm, and they're the most weighted element in Google's local algorithm as well. You've got to ignore all the stuff that you hear at conferences when you go sit in on link building sessions, or you go watch webinars or read blog posts or watch videos about link building, because that's all traditional link building. Old school generalized SEO, and it's crap that doesn't really apply to us because we're doing local SEO, and local links are different. They're weighted differently in the algorithm. With local SEO, we're typically on a much smaller scale. We don't have sites that have hundreds of thousands of links. A lot of times, most local businesses have fewer than 100 unique websites linking to them. So it's a much smaller scale than the things that you're going to see in all of these link building posts and link building guides and link building tutorials. Don't worry about the total number of links pointed to your site. Worry about the number of unique domains, because there's a lot of diminishing return. If you have one site that links to you, the difference between one link from that site and 100 links from that site isn't really that much. So worry more about getting a diverse number of linking domains that point to you, as opposed to just upping your number of links. And you want to make sure that these links are coming from local websites, local businesses, because these local entity links are pure gold in Google's local algorithm's eyes. It's really a strong signal that you are a relevant local business. If you get involved with the local community, it is super easy to get these local links. And some businesses are already really involved and really philanthropic, so that makes it super easy for them to get links. But if you're a business that's not, maybe you're a smaller mom and pop and you don't have that many employees, you don't have the ability to do it, if you can still find a way to get out in the local community and do some of that old school marketing, that old school brand building that you used to do back in the day, that's what makes it really easy for you to get these local links. And I'm going to run through a couple of ideas here. First of all, local sponsorships. Google's not okay with you buying links, but Google is totally okay with you buying a sponsorship that results in a link. So, Pee Wee football, Pee Wee soccer, Pee Wee hockey, Little League, 5Ks, golf tournaments, any of these local sponsorships are really great ways to get local links that absolutely slay. Local meetups are great too, and there's a couple of different tactics here, but you want to go to a site like meetup.com and look for local groups that have regular monthly meetings. And if you've got a meeting space like a boardroom or a lounge or something that you can offer up to those people, then let them use it on the first Monday of every month at 7:00 p.m. or whatever their meeting time is, and you're going to get a killer link out of it. And if you don't have space available, then just look for groups that are looking for sponsorships, because an easy 50, 60, 75 bucks a month, you throw it at that group to buy their pizza and their soft drinks for their monthly meeting, and boom, you get a couple of awesome, really killer local links out of it. Local blogs are great too. Find a way to get all the local bloggers to write about you. Even if you're giving them a free product or service and they say, hey, I got a free widget for writing about this widget company, doesn't matter. You're still going to get a highly relevant, killer local link out of it. So go do it. Local clubs and organizations is a little bit different take on things. It's not about what the business does in the local area, it's about what the employees do in the local area. So talk to the owner, talk to the management, talk to the staff, see what they do in their free time. If somebody's really involved in a local club or organization, especially if they're on the membership board of that organization, it's probably going to be pretty easy for you to get mentioned and linked on that website. So look for people that are really involved with church. Maybe somebody's president of the local Corvette car club or something like that, or somebody's got a kid on a club soccer team that travels all over the place. Anything like that where somebody's really involved with something in their free time, great way to get local links. Join all the local business associations you can. Sure, it's a couple $100 a month or a couple $100 a year, and maybe it's not something you're even going to do on a monthly basis, but those links are killer, so go get them. Neighborhood watch sites are one of our kind of secret sauce things that we stumbled across, because it turns out a lot of these neighborhood watches have somebody in the neighborhood that says, hey, I can do WordPress, let's have a WordPress site. And then they've got a WordPress site and they don't really have that much to put on it. So if you can offer them something valuable, especially if it's some sort of neighborhood exclusive deal, then you're going to get a killer local link that's relevant down to a neighborhood level. Now, we started doing this because it's great for SEO, but now we do it because it's crazy for referral traffic and conversions, because the people on these neighborhood sites are on there all the time to see what's going on and gossip about their neighbors. So if you have a decent special and you can share it with them, you're going to get a lot of referral traffic and you get the killer local link as well. You can also use Google. So come up with your own list of things that match that business's focus in the community and that business's goals in the community, and just come up with your Google list like this and insert your city name. If you're in Dallas, it's Dallas churches, Dallas car clubs, etc. Or if you're in Denver, it's Denver school events, Denver school awards, things like that. Now, notice the ones up there top that say in URL. For those of you that are noobs and don't know, that's a search operator. So that's telling Google, if you're saying Dallas in URL sponsorships, that's saying it wants a Dallas-based entity, Dallas-based website, that in the URL, the page address for a page on the site, it has the word sponsorships, because that's likely going to list all of the sponsors or discuss the fact that they're open and looking for sponsors. So use your Google list and curate that list, and it can be really, really powerful for you. Ask the right questions when you onboard new clients as well. We have a really killer link building questionnaire that we send to all of our new clients that says, hey, tell us about what you do in the community and things that are going on. And it's really great. So bit.ly/questions-for-local-links. It's killer. Go download it, put your own logo on it, and use it for your clients. Don't point all your links to your home page. This is a big mistake that a lot of businesses make. If you want your internal pages to rank better, point a few inbound links at them. So your COVID page, get a link pointed at that page. It's going to help that content rank a whole lot better. And reviews are really important to humans, obviously, but they're also a big weighted ranking factor in Google's local algorithm. So you need to make it easy for customers to leave reviews, and you need to ask every single customer. There's a video that I've done. You can see it right here. bit.ly/review-process. Go watch it. It walks you through that whole thing. And keywords and customer reviews. If a customer writes a review and leaves one of your important keywords in that review, it helps you rank better in searches for those keywords. But unfortunately, you can't tell customers what to write. It's against terms of service and kind of skirts the edges of being illegal with FTC law. But you can use a Jedi mind trick and share suggestions about how to write a helpful review. So watch this video here at bit.ly/keywords-in-reviews. It will walk you through the things that you need to do. And like, here's an example. You know, you're not sure what to write. The best reviews offer specific details and helpful tips. So if this was a car dealer, you would say, hey, did you buy a new car or a used car? Boom. They're going to put right there, I bought this new F-150, or I came in and bought a used car from this dealership, and now you've got that keyword in the review without directly telling them what to write. It's really powerful. And you want to make sure that you answer every single review. Again, video here for my video series, bit.ly/respond-to-reviews. And you got to watch this one if nothing else, because you can see right here in my little face, I do the old school cartoon thing where I go, woof, and the whistle goes off and smoke comes out of my ear. It's super funny. You got to watch it. Remember, when you're responding to negative reviews, that those responses are not for the person that wrote the review. It's for every potential customer in the future who reads that bad review and wants to see how you handled the situation. That's really important. You want to make sure that you're really paying a lot of attention to your Google My Business listing, because it's the key to local SEO success. It's the new homepage for your business. People don't have to go to your website to get your phone number or your address or see pictures or read testimonials or even see frequent questions. They can do all of that on Google My Business. It's the first impression that you're going to make with new potential customers. So you want to make sure that you fill out everything that you can fill out in your Google My Business listing. Make sure you're choosing the right categories. This is really key for how you're showing up in particular searches. And be strategic with what you choose, because the primary category, the first one listed, carries more ranking weight than the others. So go watch this video right here, bit.ly/GMB-primary-category. It's absolutely really powerful, so make sure you pay attention. And you want to add UTM tracking to your website link, because analytics attribution is broken, and a lot of traffic that comes in off of mobile searches will be attributed as direct. So if you add this code here, It's going to force all of that traffic that comes to Google My Business to show up as organic so that you're getting correct attribution and taking credit for all the work that you're doing. And you want to make sure that you're listing a local phone number. It's a big signal to Google's local algorithm. But it's okay now to use a tracking number. They've changed the rules. In fact, it's best practice because, again, you want attribution for that, and you want to take credit for the increase in organic phone calls that you're driving through your work. So use a tracking number. You put that tracking number in the primary slot, and then put your local number in an alternate slot so you still have that consistency with all your citations, which is a key factor in the foundational signals of local SEO. You want to make sure your correct hours are listed, especially now during COVID. In fact, if you're a retail location, you're going to see that COVID warning that says these hours may not be correct. So you can use the special hours, where typically you're going to go fill out your holiday hours and say you're open at different hours than what's hard-coded as your actual hours. If you use that special hours section as a retail location, it gets rid of that COVID hours warning because now Google knows, hey, you're actually entering your hours. Even if it matches your normal hours, use the special hours to get rid of that COVID warning. And there's a new additional hours feature. Fill out any of those that apply. So if you offer delivery or pickup or any of these, it's like this. Now when you click the hours, it'll drop down and say, here's your delivery hours, here's your pickup hours. You could do this for brunch, you could do this for drive-through. All of those factors right there, all of those are elements that you can fill out additional hours for. Definitely use those, especially during COVID, if something is different with your business. You should be using Google Posts every week. And a lot of people are like, meh, I don't care, Google Posts, whatever. But Google Posts are free advertising on Google. Truly, it's free advertising. Why would you not advertise for free on Google? Posts stay live for 7 days unless you use a template that has a date range. The key to success, though, is not what's in your post. All the stuff that you read online talks about all the characters you can fit, how big your image is, who cares. What's visible in that post thumbnail is the key to success. You've got to optimize it. Now, every time you include a CTA link, which you should, because we're all marketers, we're trying to drive conversions, it's going to remove a line of text from that thumbnail. So the What's New post will show you 3 lines of text. You can see it right here above me. 3 lines of text, and then that bottom thing is the CTA link. So you've got 3 full lines to optimize. It's awesome. If you use the event post, then you have a separate title, a separate date range, but then you have the CTA, so you only get 1 line or a couple of words to write something compelling to get people to click through. An offer post, same thing. Title, cool little price tag emoji, woohoo, date range, CTA, only 1 line of text to write a descriptor. And they have the new COVID post, and it's text only. There's no image, but you don't want to use it because when you put the COVID post in, it blocks any other live posts that you have. So if you need to share a COVID update, use the What's New post instead because you've got more room to write something compelling. And you've got to have an eye-catching image to really make sure that people will see it and click on it. The ideal image size for that image is 1200 pixels by 900 pixels. Cropping is really inconsistent and wonky, and stuff gets cropped out that you want to show in the image, so it's really frustrating. So I've created a post cropping guide. It's a Photoshop document. You can download it bit.ly/post-image-guide. It's going to look like this. It's a multi-layer document, so anything within that white grid is what's going to show in the thumbnail, and everything outside of the grid shows once they've clicked and pulled up the entire post. You should also be paying attention to GMB Questions and Answers. Questions and Answers are a crazy important feature because anyone can ask a question, and any random person can answer that question for you. Customers think it's a messaging system, but it's not. It's a community discussion feature. Most business owners have no idea that it exists. You can actually ask your own questions. Load your own questions into the system and then answer your own questions. So you're basically setting up a pre-site FAQ page. It's hugely beneficial to do this. Then you want to make sure that you're answering and asking and answering any questions related to COVID. So any updated policies or procedures, get those questions loaded so that people will see that. A really advanced pro level tip, check out the questions that people are asking your competitors and load those same questions into your Google My Business and then answer them, because now you're answering the questions that are most commonly asked in that particular vertical in your area. And answers can come in multiples. You're going to get multiple answers to a question. A lot of people can answer a question, but the answer that's displayed as primary is the answer that has the most thumbs up. So make sure you're upvoting all of your answers so they appear as primary. And Google will auto-complete questions. They'll auto-answer the question. So if I'm typing in a question that's similar to something that's been asked in the past, it's going to look at that past answer. Or if it's something that could be in a review that's got that same content, it's going to answer that question for me. So the more questions that you have that are answered better, the more often people won't even have to ask the question, because as they type it, it gets answered for them. So let's finish showing some really fun examples. We see this all the time. Even though the button that you click to ask a question is literally maybe an inch away on the screen from your phone number, people think it's messaging, so they'll ask for your phone number. And notice this is a lead. This was somebody asking a car dealer, what do I do? My engine's overheating. And look, no answer from the dealership. You've got to pay attention. Or we'll see stuff like, hey, your website sucks. And somebody says, yep, not a fan of it either. No, obviously you probably have a problem with your website. Or this one where you've got a question about the body shop and people say, look, don't go here. They lie to you and everybody else. It's a horrible experience. 1 thumbs up. Notice 6 more answers. The dealership answered. When the dealership and the business answers, it says owner, and the dealership's answer is much better. but there's no thumbs up here. If they would just put a couple thumbs up, theirs would show as the primary answer. Or this one for a hotel in Boston. How are the room numbers ordered? And this guy says alphabetically. Haha. Look at his picture too. He's super smug. He's super happy about that. But you know what? It's not good for that hotel to have that answer there. So they should be answering that question and answer it better. Or this one's my favorite one of all times. It's for the London Eye, the big Ferris wheel on the Thames River. And this has since been changed because this guy thinks he's a comedian. But the answer used to, or the question used to be, do you have to wear a helmet? And the answer was, you don't have to, but you can if you wish. I believe Viking helmets are a popular choice. And again, we all laugh. But it's probably not the best first impression for that business. So what you want to do is have it look like this. Awesome questions with awesome answers that come from the business owner. That's how you want to handle it. So I know that was a whole lot. Hopefully that didn't explode anyone's brain. And for everyone that hasn't seen Scanners, this is what happens next. His brain literally explodes. So the truth is out there about local SEO. And now I've given you the key to success for doing local SEO in a post-COVID world. Now you can break out of your shells and do even better marketing for the businesses that you're working with so that they can all live long and prosper. Thank you. That was post-COVID local SEO. There's my Twitter handle. You can follow me on Twitter. I like to live tweet conferences. There's my email address. If you have any questions, shoot me an email. And obviously at the end of every presentation that I do, there's always a list of movies in order of release date. So you can check that out as well. Thanks, guys.
So that was my presentation, and that's all the time we've got for this week's video. You know what that means? Put your hand on the screen right here. We totally just high-five because you learned something awesome. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next week for another episode of Local Search Tuesdays.